Good morning, smilers, campers, amazing human beings, LinkedIn unicorns, and everyone in between. How are you? What am I today? Like, let's be honest. Right? Check this out. I'm still in my lycra. You know, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm full of energy, and I'm really looking forward to making a difference and continuing on our journey. But I've got to tell you, Shorty, it's been interesting lately because I haven't run for 4 months, and all I've been doing is sitting in the garage on my wind trainer, riding my bike, and I'm going stir crazy. How are you doing, you gorgeous human?
Mate, fantastic. As I said to you before, just had a beautiful morning, bit of meditation, bit of journaling, gym, back on treadmill. Woo, 1.2k run. Yay. Bit of swim, bit of breath work. Oh, those are those mornings, cracker morning up here in Lennox Head. Beautiful out there on the beach this morning. So, Tobias, good morning. Hello.
I've got to tell you where Toby's coming in from. Toby's coming in from Slovakia.
Love it.
How cool is that? Toby
Love
is
it.
my nephew. G'day, Tobes. How are you, mate? Good. I'm stoked you're on here. That's awesome. I can't wait to let Oscar know. That's pretty cool. But that's the thing, right? It's a beautiful thing about computers. We can go all over the world. Doesn't really matter. We've got connections everywhere, and I'm just loving that, Shorty. But talking about connection, it's time to reconnect. It's time to bridge the gap. Time is now. And we're going to do it in Frankston. Yeah, with a smile. I love it. And I tell you what, Shorty, it's been interesting the last week. Like, I've been walking in and around shops, asking them to put up the flyer in the window. And it's been a really interesting scenario. And it's something that I'm going to talk a little bit about this week, because what's been interesting is the mum and dad businesses, the mum and dad, the small guys, have been getting right behind this. They've been putting up the posters, sharing the journey, and I'm so grateful for that, because that says that we belong in our community. You and I, we often talk about the fact that the business of Smiles, although we're the face of it, it's not ours. It's a community group. It's a community thing. We support one another, and that's what I love about it. And the grassroots people are actually getting right behind this. Then you go to places like 7-Elevens and JB Hi-Fi's and all the places that big corporates that are a part of our community. No, can't put that up in their window. No, that's our space. Are you really a part of our communities? Are you really supporting our communities? Because if that's where we're at, then I'm gonna call you out, because we are one community, right? And we're going to support each other. What we're doing in Frankston is something that's just going to bring us together. It's joy, it's happiness. Like it's something that's really important right now. Reconnecting ourselves. So I think it's awesome. So, so I'm just reading the comment from Toby. The wonderful class cities. All right, there you go. All right, we'll put that up. If you want to see classy, beautiful country named Slovakia with extremely pretty nature, nice people, wonderful, classy cities, just hit me up on Messenger. How cool is that? Go, Toby, supporting Slovakia. And it is a wonderful country. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. Good on your toes. So, yeah, but getting back to the community side of things, like this week, I'm going to, every time we someone puts up a poster, I'm going to take a photo. I'm going to put all those inside the Frankston community and Peninsula notice boards to let people know who does support Frankston, who does support the community, who does want to get behind it. Because I'll tell you what, mate, I love the place. You know, it's been an affair that I've had with it for nearly 20 years, you know, and I just love the place. So
just on that, you know, and if you unpack that, so why do big businesses, or why do some businesses get behind and why do some businesses don't? You know, it's a really interesting topic to really unpack. You know, because on a corporate level they might at some level, but on a community level they may or may not. So it's really interesting to who's behind it and what's their policies around it. Where the as you said, the small mums and dads shops out there really supporting this Smiles for Frankston event that we've got coming up. Yeah, it'd be really interesting thought process.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I mean, I can appreciate that the larger corporate companies would get hit up all the time for sponsorship. They get hit up all the time to get behind events and bits and pieces. Choosing where they go. Like recently, I do a lot of the tool shed, right? And so I have a lot of conversations around supporting the building industry. Now, one of the things that I've really come to notice is the rural builders, the guys out, that are massive parts of a community town, right? Like of rural towns. They employ the local guys, they support the local sporting clubs, but they don't get the resources of support.
Yep.
So, which is really interesting and that's what in the tool shed, we're focusing on the mum and dads. We're focusing on supporting the guys that don't get it, because they're the ones, like when you got to, and this is, like this is a challenge, because when you look at the way in which the structure is set up, like most of the people that offer support are after the commercial, because it's where the money is, and they've got to go and get that. But then they end up in that space, and the little guys get forgotten about again. And I think that's something that I don't have any answers to. I don't know. Awareness is the start of everything. So if we start the conversation around that, I think that's really important, because it's, to make a, like even, I'm actually going to go a bit sideways here, but to talk about why Frankston, why are we jumping on Frankston? Well, the reality is you can have a small impact in a big place, right? You get on a big scale, you can have a little impact, and it's a little bit. But if we get the magnifying glass out and we zoom in and we focus right in on one place and do it really well on a global scale, it's a small impact, but in a community, it's a big impact. I'll take a big impact over a small impact anyway, and that's why we're narrowing in on Frankston. But in saying that too, Andrea Marshall, who lives up in Marupna, they've done it tough. Floods have gone through them now, and there's a lot of heartbreak up in and around there. So we're looking to get there too. So Andrea's put together a bit of a thing and to get some fuel to get us up there, because I know the importance of a little bit of support can go a long way, especially after what happened when we're up in Lismore and Mullumbimby and Evans Head. I don't know, Shorty, I don't think there's anything more valuable I can be doing than supporting those, Frankston and Shep right now. I think it's really important. It's really important to get behind it. What's your thoughts on that?
I just want to take that point where you said focus on a community and have a big impact rather than having a small impact on a wider scale.
No.
Because I think when you get that formula right of having a big impact in a small community, that can be duplicatable. So therefore, then we go and we have, because we've got the know-how, we've got the resources, we've got the process, then we can go to the next community. Then we can go to the next community. And so before too long, we've actually had a big impact in a big community. And so this is where having that granular focus on Frankston and really going deep and having a massive impact, that over time can be duplicatable into other communities. And so this is why it's so important to get behind this Smiles for Frankston initiative that we're doing in the 12 days of Christmas, because that is going to have a massive impact. And to see the shift and see the change in the community, it's going to be phenomenal. And the ability to help other communities like Andrea, this is what we do. This is who we are. This is how we roll. This is the day-to-day, thing that we do. So definitely, 100% agree.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, because like, please understand that I have no no problems with anything that's happening. Like, and when I say that, I'm talking about JB Hi-Fi, right? Because I'm just sitting here reflecting on the conversation, right? Because it's not the staff, and like, they're amazing in there, right? Because there's a couple of people in there that Christmas last year, I think it was. Yeah, it was Christmas last year. We've gone in there and had a bit of yarn. Things were tough, right? So gifted a couple of pairs of socks and some masks, and they put them on immediately, right? And like, it was just wonderful. Like, even Mo, the manager, he goes, "Listen, I'll have a look at how if we can make this happen, if we can get that done, right?" And so they have a crack, but the corporate levels of stuff is something that I'm really needing to understand at the minute, because I know we've got to protect things. So I'm going backwards a little bit here, but I think it's important, because I think it's, if I'm not literally hanging shit, it's a recognition of the difference in a community of what things are going on. Because, like, I've got the Frankston Business Collective at the minute that are just awesome. Like, I interviewed Jeff Roget Monday morning, and my God, what a wonderful conversation that was, from a man who really cares about his community, and I'm so proud of the people in and around Frankston that are supporting each other in a new way. Like, the Frankston, what I learned in the Frankston, through the Frankston Business Collective, is the fact that they're educating each other. They're focusing on getting businesses and really taking things to the next level. Like, I love it. It's advocacy, connection, and education. Like, that's the three pillars. And when you look at that, right, the very first summit they had was on wellness, on well-being, on looking after business owners. How, like, for someone that's a business coach, Shorty, how does that feel, hearing that, when you've got a business collective with their very first option, they're opening up a well-being summit?
That's huge, right? Because that's where it's at, and that's where it needs to be at. Because
Yeah.
unless you've got a healthy business owner in the right mindset, in the right shape of mind, and also physically, mentally, emotionally, then what do you have? You're going to have a high burnout. You're going to have high closure rate. You're going to have, staff members not happy, not healthy. So it starts with the business leaders. And if we can get and educate them and get them on a wellness plan, whoa, like it shifts the whole vibration of doing business. It's phenomenal. So definitely hat off to those guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like, I mean, like, when I well, Mick and I obviously do a fair bit together, and his number one thing is, if the owner of the business isn't strong and solid, then he's not making the smart decisions. He's not of no value to his staff and his community if the owner of the business isn't strong. So it's such an important thing, and I love the way in which. So last night, I'm just looking at how I'm best going to say this. Excuse me, because last night I went and saw Bill Bennett and watched his new documentary, Fear. Now, I'm having a yarn with Bill again today. We're having the documentary Intuition, the Personal Guidance System, as our fundraiser for the 12 days of Christmas. And it was fascinating, because we got on a conversation about where we're at as a society, where we're at, and what do we want to see. Fact of the matter is, we're perfectly perfect where we are. No, we are exactly where we need to be. We've had lessons over the last couple of years that have taught us what is important. What are the things in our life that really do matter? And one of the big things that came out of that was community for me. Community. You sit down and I look at what communities I'm personally involved in, right? Frankston Business Collective, the Business of Smiles, the Campfire Project, Yu-Gi-Oh. That's one community I never thought I'd ever say I'd be in, but I am. I'm in the Yu-Gi-Oh community because Oscar's there. I'm in the park community because that's where Oscar swims. Like all these amazing communities, and the support that's in them is awesome. But we just need to have a bit of a light shined up and go. This is where your avenues of support are. So, what on that, Shorty? What communities are you involved in?
Oh,
Talk show.
there's a stack. Obviously, the couple that you mentioned, obviously the Campfire Project, the Business of Smiles, a few business groups, a lot of my clients in their groups as well. Basketball up here, ingrained up at the Byron Basketball Association, school groups, friends groups, training groups. It's when you really stop and think about it, it's phenomenal. And I think that's for us moving up here 18 months ago, the first thing to do for me was to find a group, straight into the gym group, straight into the basketball group, straight into the school group. And then that was instantly ingrained into the community. And, you put your hand up to help out, and next minute you're meeting some beautiful people. So that's the thing. Our communities, there are so many communities around there. It's the ability to, hey, it might feel a little bit, shy, or you might feel a little bit nervous of approaching it. But if you want to build your connections within the community, just go in and put your hand up to do something that you love doing. So if it's horse riding, if it's swimming, if it's, meditation, yoga, whatever it is, there's always a community, there's always a group that you can connect with.
100%. Like just sitting there as you're talking about it, I've just got Cold Water Crazies, F45. All these awesome groups, but it all came down with the fact that I wanted to do better for myself, right? And years ago, I wasn't the best version of myself, and then I actually volunteered for Ironman to be a volunteer down there, and that changed my life. Volunteering for Ironman, I saw these guys and girls just absolutely giving it their best, coming out of the water after a 3.8K swim, getting on their bikes, heading out, and then coming back in after a 180K ride, and then deciding to run a marathon. And I'm like, this is just phenomenal. What kind of people do this stuff? Mate, am I crazy enough for this? The answer is yes. So, but like the next day, I walked into the bike shop after packing it all up, and I'll never forget the guy. I interviewed him here just by accidentally popped up one day. Like, get on camera, Greg. I want to share the world with you. But I walked into the bike shop the next day, and this guy's in his 60s. He's hobbling. Oh, I thought I'd give him a bit of grief here. What's wrong with you, old man? He goes, I did that Ironman yesterday. I was going, bullshit. There's no way you did that. Right? And pulls out his medal. And I've gone, what? I wasn't so much impressed that he did it. I was so impressed that he turned up for work the next day. That was the thing that got me. I'm like, dude, I'm buying a bike off you. And that's, you know what I mean? And then, but from that community event, I then went through to learning how to ride. Greg actually taught me how to ride. Greg put me in with a swimming community who yesterday I caught up with a coach and a mate yesterday, through to then doing, Ironman and being part of a triathlon community, becoming part of a running community, which ended up becoming Sunday sessions, which ended up becoming, it all evolves from being a part of community events. And, like we've got ours on the 24th of November, where, just over, what's that, 3 weeks away, Shorty, 3 weeks away. Yep. And being involved in community events is phenomenal. It makes such a difference to you personally. That's the key, right? Because you meet people that are in your community that support your community, and that's what it's about, So
true, so true. And just to elaborate on that, like, we've had some opportunities over the last couple of years, and that community connection has dropped out. It has, maybe decreased. So what would it be like between now and Christmas to reconnect? What would it be like between now and Christmas just to revisit some of those communities, to, just to reach out and say hi. What would that be like coming into Christmas? Because we know coming into Christmas can be fun for some, can be a challenge for others, but it's the opportunity to come back to community. It's the opportunity to come back and to reconnect. So what would it be like for you? So just putting it out there, you may or may not take on the challenge, but have a quick review of your own communities and go, right, is there another community that you want to be part of that you've been thinking about? That could be an option as well, because there are so many different communities out there based around your passions, based around your interests, based around your hobbies, based around work, based around friends, based around health and fitness. There are so many different. It's just the ability to put your hand up and have a go.
100%. And that's something that over the next 2 weeks, Shorty, that we're going to be focusing on is actually bringing the different community groups and not-for-profits in and around Frankston to join us for what is our community connection. We're actually going to invite people to come and join us for that, because it's not all about us. It's about a community. It's about and we're only stronger if we do this stuff together. And collaboration. If anybody's seen much of what Shorty and I actually talk about, we're always talking about 1 + 1 = 3. 1 + 1 = 3. So how does that work? How does 1 + 1 = 3? Well, we'll bring our genius, you bring your genius, and I am certain that we'll make more magic. We'll be able to make 3 out of the 2, because we'll come up with something new that's going to support each other and the very reason why we do the things we do. And I think that's something super important. So shout out to anybody who's a part of a community group that wants to join us, walk with us, be a part of what we're doing, because we'll support you too. When you've got an event, we'll get around you. We'll be there. Especially if it's something that's a bit of a running or a walking event, we will actually come and participate. That's something for us that is just swimming event, whatever. We'll get around you, because we're all part of one community. So, Shorty,
love it, definitely. And I think that's a great thing to start to wind up for today, because we're planting the seed, and over the next couple of weeks, we're going to keep on reinforcing the power, the importance, and the connection of community. So reach out if you're a community in Frankston. Reach out if you're a community elsewhere. Reach out if you want to join a community. Let's have a conversation and let's start that process.
Love it. What does a community mean to you? I'd love to know that. And I'm actually going to, I just thought I'm just going to put that up on my socials. What does a community mean to you? I want to hear it. So on that note, Shorty, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. Even though, you're up in Lennox Head, you're working your ass off on this, and you're working to make your community, my community, our community stronger because of it. And I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you, brother.
No, all good. All right. That facial expression, you know what it was? The liker got caught. If you're a cyclist, you know exactly what I was just talking about. Oh, beautiful. Hey, on that note, Shorty, have an amazing day, and we'll catch up with everybody next week. Might even do a couple little pop-ups over the next little bit just to say good day, because I think there's some cool stuff going on that we could really just shine a light on. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
See you guys. Ciao. Bye.